I'm Litho, and welcome to my August garden. We're going to start with the obvious stars of the show. These sunflowers have gotten so tall. I don't truly understand what was different about this season. Maybe because it was so wet. That's my only theory. Also, I might just have, amazing seeds because I'm an amazing seed saver. That's something that you're gonna learn. But check this out. Look, I'm 6 foot tall, right? Dude, these things are so big. And I love them. They're like big, thick, stocky, plants. Oof, excuse me. Another hot day in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as always. During the summertime, at least. Right here are the N2 beds of this kind of 8-9 bed garden that I have going on. So this bed actually gets the least amount of all day sun, or at least it used to, before a couple trees fell down. And it's very interesting how nature changes spaces and how you kind of have to adjust. You really need to pay attention to your garden, your surroundings, because a couple trees fell during the wintertime, and now that had opened up a gap where I actually get late afternoon sun here. And as you can see, these sunflowers, oh my goodness. All right, well, as you can see, these sunflowers absolutely love it back here. So in these beds, I kind of don't have anything going on besides zucchini. Zucchini is the star of the show this year. And again, I want to attribute it to all the rain that we got kind of late May through the beginning of June. It was just kind of like a monsoon season here. So yeah, I ended up with these huge plants that are producing fruits. Look at this. I mean, this is too big to eat, but I mean, this is bigger than my cowboy hat. And it's heavy, I probably chop it here and maybe make some zucchini fries. That's kind of been my train of thought on what to do with all these zucchinis. I don't know. If you have suggestions, please comment below, because this is going to be my first episode of a YouTube channel. I feel like my garden is YouTubeable now, and people might want to see it. So here we are at the arch in between kind of the 2 main beds on this side of the yard, where I wanted to train my tomatoes to kind of curl around the arch. And because of the continuous animal pressure that I've been facing, that has been very rough. But I am getting tomatoes, and I have these beautiful yellow ones that I don't really know the name of right now. I'm sure there's a tag somewhere, but yeah, check these babies out. Super cool. Can't wait to taste them. I have actually come to a moment of clarity with my tomatoes this season because of, again, all the animal pressure. And when I say that, I mean deer, I mean groundhogs, rabbits, anything else. It seems like that eats anything has been in my yard. With my tomatoes, I am kind of sacrificing this season because I am doing a huge expansion on my greenhouse very soon, which will be on this YouTube channel that's brand new. I'm not a carpenter, but it's gonna happen. This has been actually a bit rougher than what I thought on the technical end, only because once your tomato plant has gotten mature, they really get kind of stiff. And it's very easy. If I tried to bend this inside one of these tiny grates that I have, I'll break it, and I've broken a couple. Luckily with tomatoes, you're able to save them, but it's not the best thing. So I'm just gonna let this thing kind of be. I got some over here that have been eaten, not living their best life, honestly. But I can dig them out and they're gonna go in the greenhouse. So yeah. While I am out here talking to all of yens, I figure I might as well harvest while I'm here. I'm so sweaty. If you subscribe to this channel, one thing that you'll learn about me is I am a sweaty, sweaty man. Oh my goodness. While I'm harvesting, I want to talk about how it's so funny that people forget to harvest their fruits, the fruits of their labor, literally. And I used to be really good about it, but I just started a new job and I haven't been out in the garden as frequent. And honestly, I am turning into one of those people where, you know, you spend all this time doing the prep, keeping them alive, watering, you know, general care. And when it gets in the, you know, the thick of the summer, the heat, the bugs, the infestation that I'll be talking about in just a minute, you know, you just like don't harvest. And it's it's such a silly dynamic that I, again, am falling fault to, but I'm gonna get better at it right now by harvesting my babies, a bunch of my babies. Look at this. Look at this beautiful red onion though. Oh yeah, look at that. I have a zucchini that needs to come out. Not even a competition with anything else. Whereas last year it was my tomatoes. And again, if you have any ideas what to do with a ton of zucchini, please let me know. At honestly the newest of the in-ground beds, my potato bed. I figure it is about time they started to get hit with some, like, it looks like potato rust or potato blight. Either way, it's the end of their growing time. So let's do a little harvest. Okay, got my gloves. Let's get in here, see what we got. More white onions in here. I forgot I put these in here. Here we are once again, and probably my greatest accomplishment this season, this pepper bed. Oh my goodness. This is like a pepper tree forest. This is so thick in here, and I know the camera isn't gonna do it justice because it's so green in here. It just seems like everything's blending together. But I promise you, every single plant in here is thriving. Oh my goodness, I am so happy. Again, last year, I literally had 0 peppers grow. And this year I have a pepper bed. Again, the secret to that, a structure to keep the temperature a bit more temperate, I suppose. You know, good water and really, you know, bearing down and maybe buying some peppers. I think there's only 2 peppers that I seeded myself in here, so I did bear that expense, but I won't next year because I'm totally overwintering these. Welcome to the second half of the garden. This season has produced a ton of leaves. It's so green, it's so lush, it's so like beautiful that it's kind of, you know, wrong to be mad at it, but I am. This half of the garden certainly didn't produce as much as I was really hoping for. I mean, I'm very happy with what I have. Like, again, it's very beautiful, but there's supposed to be so much more. And these are the beds. All 3 or 4 of these beds really got tore up by the animal pressure. And that's, again, why all this is going to change. All this will be above ground, raised beds, more videos to come. But yeah, I'll take you through the second half. Starting this side, I feel like would be wrong anywhere else if I didn't bring immediate attention to this massive. This is the biggest of my zucchini plants. And again, shout out to all the rain at the beginning of the season. This is massive. I mean, again, I'm a 6-foot guy, you know, and this is just the circumference of this. And, you know, as much as I really would like to brag, this isn't the best thing for this bed, actually, because it's crowding out other plants. There are other things buried underneath these leaves, and I didn't prune at all, obviously. And this is what happens when you don't touch your zucchini and it rains a lot. As I was going through here, filming some B-roll, I found what might be the biggest of the zucchinis. Let's see. Ooh. Dude, look at this thing. What is this? Wow. It's heavy too. I'm gonna weigh this. Yeah, the zucchinis have been going nuts this year. And I mean, I'm not mad, of course. I just need to do some pruning, which I'll probably do. I might make a video of it. I gotta start thinking of video ideas. I gotta start thinking of things. On the other side of that behemoth of a plant, I have some cucumber that haven't been doing too well, which honestly, I'm not, not too mad about. Cucumbers are something that can grow for me very easily. Yeah, not worried about it. But right next to the cucumber, I actually have my first time growing parsley, which is so interesting. It grows, it's these like thick stalks. And you just take one off and you're able to eat it, brush it off a little bit. That's some pretty good celery, actually. Problem is, I don't use celery during the summer. It's very much like a stew, broth type of thing for me, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to store these. Because I don't know how cold tolerant celery is. More on that later. Ooh, it's so humid out. Oh my goodness. Here we have my other tomato trellis. Again, didn't understand how hard it would be to bend these stems once the plant got mature, so I'm kind of just letting them do their thing. I'm really scared to break these. I am taking suckers though, because again, I have a huge plan to grow tomatoes all throughout the winter in my greenhouse. And these are some pretty cool varieties. I'm sure I'll tell you about them later, because right now I don't know them, but they're pretty sweet. The ones on these trellises are almost exclusively different type of cherry tomatoes, because I figured those will grow fastest and be able to cover this the fastest. But again, didn't account for the tenderness. But as you can see, this plant, massive animal pressure. There's tons of like bitten ends, and it's doing a lot better than the other side of the yard. I'm going to attribute that to maybe the groundhog just gets full before he gets here or something. I don't know. I hate him. But yes, I have some cucumbers growing over here. If I can grab it. It's a nice cucumber. I forget the variety, but I have two different ones. I had some Armenian ones somewhere that I'm really hoping pop up, because those ones are super cool. And I hear they have like a different taste type of deal. So underneath this massive sunflower, there's a bunch of shade. And my beautiful chamomile. Last year was not able to grow chamomile at all. It just didn't pop up. I think my germination was really off. But this year I've had massive success, even more in this herb bed that I'm gonna show in just a moment. But here I grabbed this like harvesting thing. Maybe I'll leave a link to show how you use it, because you're really supposed to deadhead these, and then you put them in your dehydrator, and then you got beautiful, natural, straight from the garden tea. Problem is, doing this by hand sucks, and you're more likely to kind of rip the plant, So you take it like this, and you just go up. And here, I am able to deadhead multiple. Gotta be kind of rough. But when you deadhead, it actually helps the plant, because it will produce more heads. Kind of the same principle with the peppers, to where if you take off you know, kind of the young and the dying mature, the plant thinks it needs to reproduce more, which is what we want, of course. As you can see from some of the footage that's playing right now, I'm gonna need to change my location of the corn. Once again, the sides of the house just aren't good. You know, one side definitely does better because it gets the morning sun, but it doesn't get the late afternoon sun, and that's why I believe those stalks are so tiny and they can barely, you know, support anything, let alone some big old cobs of corn. So I think the solution to that is next year, put the corn patch on the opposite side of the herb bed, which it's just going to take a lot of dirt, I suppose, a lot of soil, a lot of mending, because there's nothing but like ferns and just like in-ground plants over there. So changes for next year, but I'm very happy where I am right now in this August garden of mine. Not gonna have any of the garden parties that I wanted to do this year, just because this isn't up to my standard. But you know, next year. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Again, first video. I'm gonna be working alone, editing and doing all this stuff by myself, so give me a little bit of grace as far as timing. But yeah, I hope you are excited to see, because I'm excited to share. Have a good one.